In our business, there's nothing that matters other than managing payroll expense, because everything else is minimal expense-wise compared to payroll. And so we have to be careful with how we use it.
Welcome to Built in Vegas, the podcast where we spotlight the stories, strategies, and resources behind the businesses that make Vegas thrive. Whether you're starting up or scaling up, you're in the right place. Brought to you by the Video Podcast Studio.
How did you guys even get into starting Sports Social in the first place?
So Sports Social started a long time ago. I was 16 years old. I got a job tutoring kids with autism. At the time, it sounded like a cool job, and I wanted to help people, and it was an opportunity to do that. I quickly fell in love with the kids I worked with and with the parents that I created connections with. But I hated doing the traditional tutoring that I was doing. It was teaching numbers and colors and prepositions and how to brush your teeth and just things that weren't, things that I wanted to do, right? I loved skateboarding. I grew up a skateboarder, and I loved doing things outside and playing with my friends. Realized how much time these kids are spending in therapy rooms, in classrooms, and it was just crazy to me that a kid that's 5 years old with an autism diagnosis goes to school and then goes and does 20, 30, 40 hours a week of therapy on top of that. Seemed crazy to me because I was a kid at the time too, and I was like, well, when do they get to be a kid, And so I started becoming Andrew the sports guy and just started teaching all these kids that I worked with the things that I love to do, which was skateboard, ride bikes, scooter, swim. And I got to get out of sitting at the table and doing the boring things that I hated doing. And I got the kids getting out and doing those things that I love to do too. And so I did that for a few years. Fast forward, maybe I'm 20 years old or so. Then I start offering more like official lessons at the park that I grew up at, which is Desert Breeze.
Okay, cool.
Pretty famous skateboard park here in Vegas, where a lot of people came from. And all my friends were there, right? And so I brought my kids that I was tutoring to Desert Breeze. We had a little yoga mat in the hockey court. We I had like a little prize box, a little whiteboard, did my best version of like a little session in the Desert Breeze hockey court. And then we would go out and we would generalize those little things we were practicing in the hockey court to the skate park. And I did that for 2 years, and I taught kids back to back, 1 hour long, and then the next kid would come, and it was pretty hot here in Vegas, it's pretty cold in the winter. So then I saved up money for 2 years, as much as I could save. I think I had like $7,500. I got my parents to co-sign on a loan for $7,500, and so I had $15,000, which to me felt like a lot. It's not very much, but I used that, and I rented a little 3,000 square foot warehouse and built some ramps with some friends and my dad, and taught my skater friends how to do this ABA therapy thing that I learned how to do, and that was it. And that's how Sports Social started.
That's crazy because, $15,000 for a 3,000 square foot warehouse will probably be eaten up very quick.
Very quick, yeah.
That's like, let's go. We got a dream and a mission. Like, I'm in this. Take out a little loan. That's awesome, man. That's a cool story, and it is crazy. Like, you bring up that point right with these kids, like. Well, even if they don't have autism or something, it's like to sit still in school for 8 hours and then to not get out and socialize, not get the energy out. They don't run away. I can't even do that as an adult. And I'm expecting this little kid to bottle up his energy and his emotions and sit there and learn when he's 5 or 6 or 7.
Totally.
Right? Or the teenagers with all their raging hormones, to get them to sit still is so difficult. So I think that's one thing I liked about you guys, right? Is there's this education element, there's this socializing element, which I think, especially then you had COVID happen where there's this weird gap of socializing with kids, and socialization is so important for everybody.
For sure.
Even for people that hate socializing like myself. I don't like doing it. It's draining. But it's so important. So I think that's a really cool thing that you guys found, to be able to help these kids do the AB therapy and then do it around the stuff that you guys are passionate about and that these other kids are passionate about.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Definitely. And to be like absolutely clear, we fully recognize that our way doesn't work for every kid.
For
Some
sure.
kids need those sterile environments. They need the limited stimuli so that they can build up on those skills. But for those kids who do get antsy, who would rather learn in a playful, fun environment rather than these more sterile environments, then absolutely it's nice that they have both of those options that they can go to.
Yeah. No, it's something like that. Yeah, it's not a one size fits all for everybody, but a lot of kids have a lot of energy.
No, for sure. Absolutely.
And if they can roll around on a skateboard, and then and then like for me, like it seems like skateboarding kind of brought you into this direction. Dude, I owe my whole career to skateboarding.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I got into video.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like I went out and visited my brother. He was in college at the time up in Utah. His buddy was sponsored by S, like kind of Flow, but was getting on there. And then he was like, "Oh, check out this this demo tape I filmed and I made." And then he played me a skate part, and I was like, "What do you mean you made this? Like, I don't get. What do you mean you made this?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, here's a priority copy of Adobe." And I was like, "Huh?" And then like I became like less interested in skateboarding and more filming the skateboarding. And I was like, "Okay, give me like my." What was it, the GL1 and the Death Lens, and like, all right, let's go to Burkholder and skate, and like, and I'm like, I can't do anything cool down the 10 stair. Let me film you do something cooler. I don't want to get hurt. And then taught myself how to do it. And that led me, I've traveled the world. My family's dreams are all because of skateboarding, like, and so I think it's cool that you guys get to introduce kids to that and give them a cool space.
Yeah, same. I was never the best skateboarder, but I get a chance for skateboarding to be a big part of my life still. And, grateful for that, just as you are.
Yeah.
Sure.
What's been one of the hardest parts about building a business? Maybe something you didn't expect when you were like, all right, I got the 15 grand, let's go.
There's a lot of hard parts. If I knew how hard it was going to be, I would have never done it, to be honest. Like, I think, I was 22 when I started, 36 now. I would have thought it would have been a whole lot easier by now, and that things would just be more, like, they just flow, It's hard, like you said before, like, things just naturally ebb and flow, like the things go well, and then you have to pivot and change what you're doing, and what you were doing for to get to here, it worked really well, and then now it doesn't work anymore, and you have to come up with a new plan. But the biggest challenge, I think, is staying true to your core mission, not getting too distracted by all of the potential things that you might want to do or people might want you to do. So staying true to your mission, and building a team that emulates that. And so I think for us, recruiting and training and retaining the right people is a real big challenge. Absolutely. Right? Steven's newer to our organization. He's been with us for
6 months.
6 months. Yeah?
Yeah.
Congrats. It's hard. We're a team of about 90 people, and getting us all swimming in the right direction, getting us all feeling like we're heard and we're respected and we're contributing and we matter, and we're paid well, is hard.
I think it's an underestimated part of business when young entrepreneurs hop in, right? Like, I talk about this a lot, but like, they're on Instagram and they see these posts of like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur and I make money in my sleep. And it's so easy. Anybody can do it. Like, buy my course, right? Like,
yeah, for sure. And
they sell this dream, and it's like, entrepreneurship is just work. It's really hard. And then you die. Right? Like, it's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, a little bit of luck, a whole lot of work, and then you die.
But when you're on that mission, right, it's the work and the heartaches and the stress are worth it because you are building something bigger than yourself, right? Mm-hmm. Especially with, I work with a lot of nonprofits, and similar to like what you do, right? You're changing children's lives, right? Like you're making such a big impact, not just on like building a business, but literally creating core memories in these kids while teaching them and educating them but like helping them build friendships that they might have forever, and introducing the kid to a skateboard who maybe becomes a filmer and opens up a company one day, right? Like, or introducing them to this, because all of these sports aren't just sports, right? Like my son plays hockey. Yeah. And like the growth and the learning that he gets from playing that sport, especially as a goalie, is crazy. Like I tell him all the time, I'm like, dude, you can do anything like when you get older, because of the mental toughness that you have to have in your position at the level you play to,
for sure,
and the things you've had to gone through as a kid playing this sport. Like it's crazy what it can produce and teach you, and what I walk away learning from it, watching him play. And then a common thread I've seen too is like, I feel like it almost doesn't matter what industry you're in, finding people is hard.
Absolutely.
I worked with, I was talking to this guy, Nathan, recently that was on the podcast, and, he runs a construction company, and it's like, dude, finding people that want to work and get paid well.
Yeah.
It's hard. And like, it's hard, especially to get specialized and find the right fit that fits the culture.
For sure, yeah.
That stick around, that want to actually show up. Have you found any way to kind of like make it slightly easier? Any secret sauce there to help me on my journey?
I think that there's no replacement for like time and effort. We spend a lot of time recruiting, right? We spend just a lot of time reviewing potential applicants, and we spend a lot of time interviewing. Like, it's a pretty big part of my job, and the team's job is just meeting people. The more people you meet, the more likely you are going to find the right one. But we interview looking for people that we think emulate our mission and our values, right? Do they scream happiness and friendship? That's our mission, right? Do they emulate, empathy and respect? Those are some important core values of ours. So if we see those things in the recruiting process, we're going to push them through to a second interview. Make it past the second interview, then they go through our training. Not everybody makes it through the training. We're intentionally trying to weed out people that we find out, they kind of duped us in the interview process, and they weren't actually what they said in the training process. And so I think that just applying a lot of time to the recruiting process and the training process, and making sure that they're not official till they're done with training.
Yeah, no, I love that, because I think it's, especially I think early on, right? Like you get so excited, like, okay, I have a position I can fill. This person wants that's great. Yeah. And then you bring them in and you're like, oh, this is not what we needed. It's not what I expected. You're not the same person, and you're quick to hire, but then you're slow to fire is not the right way. Like, you definitely need to be way slower on hiring. And I've learned that myself. Like, for sure. There's a point in my career where I was like, I want to own a real business. I run a business, but I need employees. And so I hired like 3 people really quick. And then like 4 months later, I had like no money in my bank account because I hired the wrong people. I wasn't the right leader. It was mainly my fault. I wasn't guiding them the right way. I wasn't doing anything right. So I had no money. I was like, fired everybody. I was like, I want to quit entrepreneurship. I am not an entrepreneur. And then I sat down, got way more clear about my vision and what I wanted to do. And at that time, it was like, let's stick to what I like doing. I want to work with less clients. I want less responsibilities because I think something that people don't think about, especially when you work at a place, is like, you're in charge of their livelihood. You're in charge of feeding their kids. You're in charge of making sure enough money comes in. Yeah. And you have to pay all of them first before you can even pay your bill. So you have your own stresses and your own kids, your own family, right? Like, does that ever get overwhelming for you?
It's extremely overwhelming. Yeah, with 90 people on the team, it's a pretty big payroll, as you might imagine. And trying to offer new and more benefits always. Like, we have PTO now and 401ks and all of these additional things that go with that monthly payroll expense is crazy. In our business, there's nothing that matters other than managing payroll expense, because everything else is minimal expense-wise compared to payroll. And so we have to be careful with how we use it and how we hire 10 people a month. So it's a lot, right? And they go through training, and we hope that 6 make it through. But that's just a big investment.
Do you guys experience a lot of turnover? Is that why?
Yeah, and growth. So we experience both turnover always. We hire young adults, mostly around 18 to 30 years old or so. They're moving on to other things, and they're looking for new opportunities, and they're moving on.
The field in general also just has relatively high turnover at that level anyway. It's just I've been at companies where turnover is close to 80% for those first year people. So
that just gives
we're
me
not
so
we're
much
not
stress.
at that.
Yeah, we're not at that. It's a hard job, It's
It
just
is.
no matter what, you're trying to help a kid that has real difficult struggles in their life, and it's a lot to take on emotionally and spiritually and all that, and so
Yeah, it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like, let's dive in a little bit more to Sports Social. Like,
Sure.
what is it that you guys do there?
Yeah. I can explain, and then I'll have Stephen can tag on a little bit of that. But so Sports Social, we're a program for kids aged 5 years old and up, right? Those with an autism or special needs diagnosis is mainly who we're serving. We're helping them learn social, communication, and behavior skills through sports, art, and music. Our mission is happiness and friendship, and making that be a reality and a priority for them in their life. Like I said before, they have a lot of things in their life that they have to do. The autism or special needs diagnosis comes with way more responsibility as a kid than a typical kid has to, right? Because they have to go to school and then do all this therapy. That's important and needed, right? And so Sports Social is just trying to be a piece in all that puzzle to help them have friends in their life and help them find that joy and happiness in their day-to-day life. We are an indoor skate park, basketball courts, rock climbing walls, music rooms, classrooms, a cafe, an ice cream truck. We have quite a few different opportunities for our students to experience these activities and learn the social and communication skills while doing it. Now, to top it all off, right, Sports Social is based in the science of applied behavior analysis. It is what I learned back when I was 16. Wasn't very good at it, wasn't the best skateboarder, and I took those two things and put them together, right? And then, over the years, we have evolved. We did like our own kind of Jack ABA version, right? Where we were kind of, we were implementing, but we weren't fully applied behavior analysis therapy, right? We didn't want to be. We wanted to be on our own island, and we didn't want anybody to tell us who we are or what we had to be. Comes from my, our skateboard background of not wanting to fit into a box. But as we've evolved over the years, in part, some state regulations forced us down this path of, they said, if you're using ABA, well, you have to now follow these rules, and everybody has to get certified. And I fought it, but whatever. And at the end of it, we are in this path. And now we've decided, okay, if we're in this path, we're ABA, and we're going to show how ABA can be done, how it should be done, and that it can be better. And it doesn't have to be sitting in classrooms. It doesn't have to be sitting at a table. It can be done in more meaningful, social, and engaging ways. Okay, then fast forward, brought Stephen, Dr. Payne, onto the team 6 months ago, and asking him to help lead us in how does ABA get applied in our environment, and how do we use it in ways that is most, again, meaningful and impactful. And yeah.
For sure. And to speak a little bit on that, and just from my background, I've basically pretty much worked anywhere that an applied behavior analyst can work with, whatever population an applied behavior analyst can work with. I was a professor for 12 years, so I did the academia thing for a long time, published a lot of different research, and then I wanted to be able to just take what I'd done and actually contribute to the field in a more direct way. And I found myself like, it's kind of funny talking about, there's this whole 14-year background of Sports Social before me, but I almost feel like if I would have started a company 14 years ago and designed it, it's exactly what I would have designed. I think applied behavior analysis does get a bad rap sometimes, especially with autistic adults. There's just the ways things have been done in the past, where people have been really sort of forceful and physical and trying to get people to stop behaviors that are very natural for autistic people, getting them to do behaviors that are very uncomfortable naturally for autistic people to do. And we really want to show a different way to go about doing that, to allow kids to say no. That's one of the first things we teach all of our kids is how to stand up for themselves, how to say no when they're uncomfortable, teach important skills just for safety in their life. And we try and set up our world in a way that it's built for them. The rest of the world, not built for autistic people. It's just not. But when they step foot into our building, we want that world to be built for them, to have all the accommodations they need to be like any other kid, have a good time, learn important skills. And we are using a very, very strong science-backed, evidence-based procedures to do that. And so that's kind of where I come in and really try and bring not only, trying to do things in new ways with skateboarding and sports and using those to teach social skills, but doing it in a way that is backed by the very best science that our field has to offer.
That's awesome. Is there like an age that they can start coming to Sports Social?
5.
5.
Yeah. Just so they have some basic kind of skills and safety things,
Yeah.
skate park.
No, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, skate parks are not the most safe places for 3-year-olds running around.
Hey, my 3-year-old goes around the skate park.
I mean,
my wife's like, put a helmet on him. I'm like, yeah, sure, I will.
All of our kids are required to wear helmets at all times, just making that clear.
Yeah, no, I actually make my little one wear a helmet too because he's crazy. Yeah. And then he'll just go down. Like, he can't stand up on the skate park, right? But so he just goes down and we go to Horizon and skate at Hidden Falls. And he just goes down to that big hill. He just walks up there, goes down, just jumps on his board. And he's like, wee! And then straight into a wall. Like, that kid's wild, man. That's cool, though. Like, we actually fostered a kid that was on the spectrum that had autism. Oh, wow. And there was definitely an interesting learning curve. We worked with a lot of specialists. Mm-hmm. But what made his case a little more unique is he's actually blind. So he was completely blind, like no light perception, and had autism, which we didn't know about the autism. We knew he was blind. And then when we picked him up from foster care, they were like, by the way, he's autistic. As we're like driving away, and I was like, what? Like, this is, and we learned so much. It was so interesting to like kind of work with some of the specialists and see how do you deal with certain things. And once again, he was a very special case because it's like being blind delays you developmentally because we learn visually.
So much visually.
Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. And so then you add in being on the spectrum, with the autism, we almost don't even know how strong the autism is because he's so delayed over here.
It's hard to know.
And it was interesting. It was such a sweetheart, though. We got him when he was 3. We had him for about a year. Mm-hmm. And the biggest laugh in the world. Mm-hmm. And I'd like pick him up and be like, kiss of death. And he'd like repeat it, like, kiss of death. And give him a kiss and I'd just chuck him across the room, land on the bed, and he'd just like belly laugh for days. Like, he was such a sweet spirit,
Yeah.
Well, one thing that another thing that I like about Sports Social is we do have a really good partnership with DFS in town, and we have kids in the foster system come every single week to just get to experience that. We don't put an age limit on that, so that's sometimes true. We get little 2-year-olds running around the building, but it's just something that really important partnership I think that we bring to the community.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's huge. Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah. Actually, DFS films their podcast here.
Oh, really?
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we work with Holly, and then I'll have to tell her and have her bring you guys on her podcast.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
We've done before where they came out and they filmed kids at Sports Social in trying to get them adopted. Like, they do like a highlight on the news show. I forgot what it was called, but we used to go to Child Haven as well once a week. We don't go anymore, but there's so many kids there that need love and support and
Absolutely.
Yeah, so many kids that need that love and support. That's really cool that you guys do that, and that you work with DFS and CCFS.
Yeah.
They rebranded again.
Oh, really?
So
did
yeah,
they?
it's CCFS, Clark County Family Services instead of Department of Family Services.
We have to change all our documents.
Yeah, my folder to them is actually DFS. And she's like, "Hey, could you change that?" I label all my folders like DFS, this date, this thing. She's like, "Can you put CCFS?" I'm like, "Yep, okay."
That's funny.
I'll probably cut all that out of this episode, but anyways, side work, right? But I'll talk to Holly about maybe bringing you guys on her podcast because they like to highlight like businesses that are helping out and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's really cool that you guys give back to these communities because these kids need it, especially I think like the foster care system. That's really cool because they're not awarded some of the same activities, social interactions that kids that get to stay with their bio families and aren't taken away. I should say that differently.
Yeah, from what I understand, that kids with an autism or special needs diagnosis are continually in the system because it's difficult to get them back reunited with their parents, difficult to find foster parents, and so they really need that, like those therapies and that support more than ever to help them get long-term placement. So,
yeah. And so, I mean, we talked about like the recruiting side of things, but I'm kind of going back to that. So you're just constantly just doing interviews.
Recruiting. Steven was a big part, I'm interviewing, looking for, not just instructors, but also BCBAs to join the team. That's what Steven is. He's a doctorate of
a board certified behavior analyst. And a licensed behavior analyst in the state of Nevada.
But interviewing people that aligned, he had cats and dogs tattooed on his fingers, and I was like, "What's up with that?" I'm looking for non-traditional, right? Most people that are in the field don't align with us, right? And so recruiting is just something that we have to do at all levels. Do you know Justin Bishop? He's a blind skateboarder.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's so sick. He used to work for us 5 years ago. It was pretty amazing watching him.
Yeah.
He was an instructor teaching kids without vision. It was pretty amazing. But then if you see his skateboard clips, you can see how he could do that because he can like hit handrails and kickflip down stuff. And
it's so crazy and so inspiring.
Yeah.
Well, and like that's the thing that I liked about your guys' page when I found it, right? Like we were talking about like, you guys had like legit skateboarders in there helping and stuff too. You had like Frankie Decker, like that guy's wild, dude. I remember when I first saw him, I was like,
he's so good,
that's so sick.
Yeah.
And so like, I don't know, it seems like such a cool environment, and it must feel really rewarding to see like what you've built, when you were just like, all right, well, I'm not very good at this or this. Let's combine them, and then to see what it's turned into now.
Yeah.
I'm sure that when you started, you didn't think you'd have the problems and frustrations that you're facing currently. And I was talking about this to somebody else the other day where it was like, I feel like my world's always ending and I'm drowning in work, or I'm drowning dealing with people, I'm drowning with this, and I'm at this certain level. I'm like, oh, if I could only make it here, all that goes away. But then you talk to people on this level and they're like, I'm just always drowning in work and drowning in stress. Like, I don't think it ever necessarily becomes easy, right?
Yeah.
I think there's always new problems, but I don't know about you. Like, what kind of fuels you? Like, obviously the kids, and you love what you do, but is there something like, do you love trying to solve the puzzle pieces of the program? Like, what kind of pushes you as an entrepreneur?
Definitely making an impact is something that fuels me, and seeing like the change and the difference that we're making in kids' lives and in parents' lives. Doing things that like are unique and fun that I like doing fuels me. Like, I bought an ice cream truck because it was something fun that I wanted to do, and gave me like an opportunity to like go back to my childhood of like enjoying those times when the ice cream truck was there, and finding a way to take that fun thing and integrate it into our business is like something that is exciting, right? So I don't know, things like that like are unique to me, but I can use to make a difference and connect with our mission.
Yeah. And leading a group, you said like 90 people, right? What do you think was like the hardest attribute or trait for you to learn to become the right leader that your team needs?
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to be a good leader of people. I would say like just being willing to like continually take feedback on your own self and how like you can change and evolve, and just continually trying to listen to people and like implement their feedback and like listen and hear it and then make adjustments, I think is a big one. And then also just knowing when the time is to say like, no, this is the direction that I want to go, and this is what the company is about, and this is where we're going, is a difficult balance. Like just, okay, I want to hear everyone. What do you think? How should we do it? Okay, cool. All right, now we're going to go this way. And that balance between I want to hear your input and no, I don't want to hear your input, this is where we're going, is a delicate one, you know, and I've messed it up plenty of times. So
if you could give a piece of advice to an entrepreneur out there, what would that piece of advice be?
I don't know. I think if you're coming from a good place, so just number one, like making sure that you have good intentions, and then you're applying effort is important, but not just blind effort, that you're applying awareness, you know, I think is continually where I try to go back to. Like, am I coming from a good place? Am I trying my hardest? And am I truly aware of the total circumstance? I think is what has gotten me through any difficult time. Sometimes I didn't have a good intention. Sometimes I wasn't trying hard enough. Sometimes I was being completely unaware. And so my would be to go back to that. And that maybe seems kind of general, but I feel like that's what I have applied that's gotten me through difficult times.
Is there like a part of just being an entrepreneur that you just absolutely hate?
Managing people. 100%. It's just, I just don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy it at all. I hate it.
Yeah.
That's why you have us.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I don't even enjoy behavior change that much, to be honest. Like, I like letting kids do bad things and just like ignoring, you know, and just like having fun, right? And I don't like having to tell people what to do. I want them to do their thing. And so I struggle with that. You know, I know ABA is important and is super valuable in teaching kids, and the same is true as how you teach adults, right? And I just don't enjoy it.
Yeah, that's why you bring in people like him, right? Exactly. Yeah, surround yourself with the best people and have them take that stuff off that you hate doing. Yeah. I do feel like for me, right? Like, I mean, we're small, still startup, like the people aspect, right? Like hiring, if you have to fire, that's probably my least favorite part is like, cause like, especially being so small, it's like everything's so intimate and like everyone becomes family. And if I'm like, this isn't a good fit, you're hurting our business, like how do I have that conversation with that person?
Super hard, yeah.
Yeah, and that for me is probably the least favorite part of it. Like I don't mind the work hours, I don't mind killing myself for the work, I don't mind dealing with annoying clients sometimes, like all that's fine. It really is like which sucks because like I want to build something bigger than myself. I want to help, you know, raise other people's voices. I want to be a connection hub for entrepreneurs, and I want to allow them to, you know, get their message out there and change the world in the way that they're changing it. And I need to build a big team to do that. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to have to deal with people and manage people. So,
yeah, having, like you said, having good people around you, I think that fill in your gaps, you know, and are aligned with you is super important. Is how I've been able to build a team of 90 people while hating managing people, is by finding people that I align with that are good at that or good at other things. I think is how we've been able to do that. Yeah.
What's next for Sports Social? Anything that you guys are working on, trying to build, maybe innovate?
we've gone through a lot of change over the last couple of years, and so we're really just nailing down all of the pieces and the blueprint of how this organization operates, so that we can scale into more locations in this city and in other cities as well. There's not another organization doing what Sports Social is doing, and we think we can have more of an impact in the lives of people in this city and beyond. So getting there takes a lot of work and structure and new processes and procedures, and we brought on insurance and Medicaid funding just in the last year, and so that's been a new division of our business, and so just that piece has been a big one that we're working through.
That's awesome. And how can people find out more information about Sports Social?
Yeah, check us out on any social medias, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all of those, or our website, lvsportsocial.com.
Welcome to Built in Vegas, the podcast where we spotlight the stories, strategies, and resources behind the businesses that make Vegas thrive. Whether you're starting up or scaling up, you're in the right place. Brought to you by the Video Podcast Studio.